working from back to front so I can get the background in properly before I start building up details. The sky will not be staying this blue. It is a natural disaster. This is just to get some preliminary colours down and then I can build up over them. I made these little ceramics. It just makes it easier. Because some of the products, if you're not careful and you get the wrong type of plastic, will eat through the plastic. So your paint thinners or your iris mediums, they can eat through plastic. Even some linseed oil, it can be quite strong, and if you've got the wrong type of plastic, it'll eat through the plastic. I know this from experience, because I used to think to myself, oh, I've got a big bottle of linseed oil, artist refined linseed oil, and I put it in like a little urination jar that had not been used. Then thought to myself, well, I'm only going to use a little bit at a time, but this will at least make it easier. And it did make it easier until it ate through the plastic and the oil went everywhere in my car. Was not a good idea. Put those down. And I'll start building out a little bit of the ocean and add a green into that blue there. Do that. So technically the actual horizon line's about here, so I could build up and then rebuild it all again, which I might actually do now that I'm thinking about it. I'll just thin this out a bit more. Because this is, even though it's going to be all covered in, well, first some hills are going to go in, background. So they'll be on a blue scale anyway, because the further back in the distance you are, the lighter, the paler it is, and they tend to get a bit blue or a bit purpley. So I'll just have that as like another underlayer to help. It also gives a bit of a misty effect at the moment, which not quite what I'm going to go for, since I'm going to do that later on, but just gives me an idea of where my horizon line is. Once I get into it all, since these pieces are all separate panels. Build up over top of it. The good thing about oil paint is I can always change it a little bit later if I don't like it. My only trial there is making sure I don't get too impatient. Because I've done that before, and all I've done is made a bit of a mess because I let the colours get a little bit muddy instead of building up the layers. That blocks up that section there. So this is going to actually give me a better idea as well what my layout's actually going to look like. Right, there we go. Those are ceramics pieces, that one just there. And that's a plastic plate for the paint, so I can just put a shower cap over it and it'll keep it fresh for longer. I know it's oil paints and they can last for a bit, but sometimes it's just better to keep it fresh. The oil paints itself shouldn't eat through the plastic, or at least not that plastic. Yeah. Right. I want this one. That's an olive, by the way. A lot of olive is just a yellow and black. Make some really nice greens with them, depending on which yellows you use. There you go, there's a really rough, some sea greeny grey colour, which is just like that. Don't ask me about the colours of the paints. I've had these paints for a long time. And as you can see, they're still obviously usable from the tube. Unfortunately, the actual names of the paints are not there. I'm pretty sure that's like a cyan blue, or along that line. I know it's not ultramarine, and that's basically all I know. Right. The white I'm using is a titanium white that I got from a tin. It comes a little bit thicker in the tins, purely because it's meant to have like a parchment over the top that you can then, with a little bit of oil on it, it helps to keep it fresher for longer. I tend to go through a lot of white paint, so it makes sense to me to use it. The medium that I'm mixing in right now is a number 4 medium. It has got its own little ceramic bowl pinch pot thing that I did as well. I've got a few of those actually, different lengths, as is necessary or required. Alright, time to sort of put in the water, at least most of it. Alright, I think I might start from the back end, well, the top. I know, generally speaking, what I'm doing. Sometimes it's okay just to try and figure it out as you go. Not the color I'm looking for. But that's just color theory for you. Did I do that one right? Alright. Yes, I did. Now these colours will not be the end colours at all. This is to help just like before, just to help sort of set up what I'm wanting to do. You can see the charcoal that's still underneath. I haven't set the charcoal, by the way, so there's going to be a couple of smudges. That's just going to add to the lines that I'm doing at the moment. They are water lines, so I'm not too fussed on that. Underpainting are fun. Sort of see the charcoal's making some smudges along the whole thing as well. That gives me my lines a bit better as well. The direction of it all. Let's see how. Just go over that one there. Again, going over most of my charcoal bits and pieces because I can repaint over them. It also gives them depth as well. If I have paintings like the water underneath it, it doesn't look too out of place if the orange shows through then. I don't know if you can see exactly the animal that's going to be sort of almost like a watermark. That's what I'm aiming for. Watermark sort of type thing in there, but I don't know if you're seeing my face when I do that. It's a bit awkward, isn't it? Colours leaching out for the charcoal. Okay, I'll go over it again later. Sort of thing. sort of making marks to give an idea of water lines and water rising. How see-through the water's going to be, how murky it is. I'll have to put some murky water somewhere. Alright, keep going. Note to self, I really shouldn't be doing this while I've got a bit of a head cold. The fumes get to you after bed. I need to redesign that bit there. It's meant to be about rescuing people from the water. Very, very rough sketch. Very rough sketch of that in that right hand bottom corner. I'll go over that in a second. Because I'll probably end up redoing a few bits and pieces there. Restructure some of the hoses and stuff with and everything, because I just have to make these panels as one cohesive unit, but I also need to make them as separate individual pieces, all representing what I want to do, which is a little difficult, but we'll get there. Completely with what's left of this. See, the orange makes the blue pop, which is why I painted the underlay orange, or an orange color I should say. While that's going, I might mix up another green, a more green rather than a blue. Paint there. An idea of movement. Doing light first, which you don't. Some people do with watercolors, some people don't. I'm just really laying down foundations at the moment. All right, time to rinse my brush.